A Quiet Rune Scribe. Written by Blue Dragon 64. Chapter 8. It's Friday, June 21st today, and it's the summer sun celebration, and Cantola is busy with all different kinds of ponies moving about for the festivities. And I've been given the day off as the library will be closed today, and Celestia is going to be giving a speech like she does most years, and most years before this one. I'm not going. Mostly because it's just not my thing. I don't mind going to a party, but something like this is a little too big for me. That doesn't mean I'm going to be doing nothing, though. I have a few plans for my own. I'm going to be shipping a package to a certain pony. To explain, we have to back up a bit. During the past few weeks after meeting Shining and Twilight, I've been thinking about how much I should change about the timeline. At first, I didn't want to interact with any of the main characters, and I still don't, but I realized that if I don't do any of them, it will be hard to help when canon starts. But if I can get to know some of them before canon at a minimum, I can offer help or be asked to help. The problem with being how to do this without getting too much attention on me. I want them to know I exist, not become part of the main cast. I'm basically trying to become a background character. Someone who can help but does things unseen most of the time. So, I'm taking advantage of the summer sun celebration. As many ponies send gifts to Celestia on this day, and I will be doing the same. My plan is to send a lot of the new tea to her. This may not sound like much, but after learning about the blood leaf tea's magical effects, I kept researching the plant. I learned that the plant is much rarer than I thought, as the only way to harvest it is to wander in the forest and mountains looking for it. And while it's not hard to spot, it's not common to find. I also went looking for it in markets to see that it was priced at 400 bits for an ounce. That may seem ridiculous, as you'd think at least one other pony has a life affinity to sell this stuff. But after some thought, I realized that the process to unlock an affinity isn't easy. As I learned in the past, to unlock your affinity, you need a lot of magic, but you also need a lot more money. Even me with a decent paying job, where I don't have to pay for food or rent, it took just under a month to collect the money necessary. The only reason I got such a good crystal for so cheap was blind luck. That, and as I've learned, the reason plant magic is so underutilized is how complex the spells are, and just how rare the life affinity is. Combine this with the expense of decent crystals and having to enchant it along with the possibility of enchantment failing and the crystal being rendered useless, along with the time and knowledge needed to use an affinity, means most never find out what affinity they have, and even less try unlocking and using them, as it's much easier to just use normal spells. This means that the only way to get blood leaf tea is by harvesting it from the wild. A dangerous job. Even my old life and my past world didn't have magical monsters roaming the wilds, and I haven't even mentioned the last piece of the puzzle. The magical effect of tea doesn't give you magic, but specifically increases one ability to regenerate their magic. So the effect doesn't do much for your average pony, as they've trained to regenerate their magic. But for ponies that have the effect, it is much more noticeable, in some cases taking hours off recovery times. All of this accumulates into an absurd price now. As for why this is important is because I might be the only pony in Equestria that can produce as much as I like, only requiring time as it takes longer to dry the tea than grow them. Now, I don't want to start selling the stuff, as that would immediately put me in the public spotlight, but I can send a 20-pound package of tea to her. As for the reason, I think that she'll need it. Even if she wanted to drink it every day, she couldn't, even though she definitely has the money to pay for it. There's just not enough to go around. Plus, the magical effect is still coming from the herb itself, though for some pony of Celestia's size, she'd need much more to achieve the same results. So with all this in mind, I walk with a box filled with 20 pounds of tea stored in a few wooden boxes I bought yesterday, bringing it to the post office. One of the few businesses open today. As I enter the post office, it's busy, and it takes half an hour to get to the front line. "Hello, sir. What can I help you with?" The brown-colored unicorn stallion at the counter asks me. "I'd like to deliver this to the princess. I presume that you can do that, right?" He nods. "Yup. I will need your name." He passes me a small piece of paper and a quill and an inkwell. And I need to know if it's fragile.
No, it just can't get wet.
Okay, that will be 5 bits, please. I give him 5 bits and I write my name down on a small piece of paper he gives me. As he takes my package behind the counter, I move out of the front line for other ponies, waiting before leaving the post office as I start walking home. After reaching my home, I start cooking a small meal for myself, frying some salmon I bought and slicing some bread along with lettuce and mustard, making myself a fish sandwich. After I sit down at my desk and start reading a silly crime novel I found while eating my sandwich. After finishing my dinner and washing my plate, I sat on my bed and started reading about healing magic. After learning how difficult it is to learn healing magic, I decided to learn it anyway, as in the future, I would like to make healing spells, mostly basic ones. It will take me a few years to learn what I need to know before I can even start trying to make a healing spell, but I have time, so why not? Another thing I've been trying to unlock is my space affinity. The only progress I've made is when I try meditating. I can somewhat feel the empty space around me, although it takes all of my concentration to feel anything, and even then it's a faint feeling. But it is getting easier with time, although like healing magic, this might be unusable for a few more years. I have made some progress with plant magic, mostly in the efficiency of my magic conversion. I now lose less magic when growing plants. It's not much less, only a few percent, but with time that will grow. No pun intended. As I stay awake throughout the night, waiting for dawn, I read and draw. After several hours, I check the time. 5:46. Dawn break will be at 6, so I put down my book and make myself some tea before sitting in front of my window, waiting for dawn to break. I sip my tea as the sun starts to rise and the moon falls. I raise my cup to toast to another year in this world.
Well, I hope the princess liked my gift.
After enjoying the sunrise for a moment, I move to my bed, more than ready for sleep. Celestia. After raising the sun, I move to the throne room and I take my seat, preparing for day court. Before one of my little ponies comes up to me, Cloverfield, my assistant. After giving a short bow, she speaks.
Good morning, Your Majesty. Same to you, Clover.
She gives a quick nod and flicks a clipboard and a package next to her.
That's odd. Most gifts I get are sorted and checked for danger before I get them. I do love how much they care. I just wish they would worry about me less. Clover, is that one of the gifts I got? I thought we would only be opening them later after day court, which starts in half an hour.
I asked my assistant.
You're right, Your Majesty. But we found out what this package contained. We thought it best to get to you as fast as possible.
This caused me to grow concerned.
Is it something dangerous? No. It's just the value of the package that's the concern.
This answer makes me confused.
Well, don't keep me in suspense. Well, at first the guards didn't know if it was real, but after getting an expert to inspect it, who confirmed that it is all real.
She moves the package to me, the outside being a basic cardboard with a top loose. As I open the box, I see several simple wooden boxes and a note laying on top of them. I picked up a small note while reading it.
May this serve you well, Princess.
Signed, Shade Evergreen. That was all, nothing else. Just some nice words and a name. I move the note to the side and grab one of the boxes before opening. I have to struggle to keep my face neutral as the box is filled to the rim with a tea I recognize well, having enjoyed it greatly in the past on the rare few occasions I've had it. Bloodleaf tea. I turn back to Clover.
How much is in these boxes? All the boxes combined have roughly 20 pounds in total.
This time I can't keep the shock on my face.
20 pounds? This herb sells for hundreds of bits per ounce. How? We don't know, Your Majesty. All we found out was the sender's name, one Shade Evergreen, and where they sent it from was one of the post offices in Camelot. That is not a name I recognize. I'm having some buddies looking into it, but That could take a few days. That is fine. I do wonder how they got so much, though.
And take a moment to cast a spell, seeing the time. The course starts in a few minutes.
Well, please keep me informed on what you find.
I take some tea out of the box and summon a small jar to put it in before moving the box to a safe place.
And please, have some tea made for me.
I ask Clover if I pass her the jar.
Yes, Your Majesty.
She then walks away to deliver the tea leaves as I prepare for day court. After a few minutes, ponies start filling the throne room, along with Clover holding a silver tray with my tea set on it. I take a moment to sip some, tasting the light lemon undertones and the feeling of my magic refilling.
Shade Evergreen. I wonder, who are you?
So, I did a little bit of math. Our boy here makes about 1.8 bits an hour. So every 8-hour workday or apprenticeship, he makes around 15 bits. At least that's what I could parcel out based on his expenses. So, given this was worth 128,000 bits, because each ounce is 400 bits, and he gave 16 ounces per pound, that means he gave her the equivalent of his current job and his current rate. He gave her 36 years worth of tea in that one moment. I think our boy can sell a little bit of the tea to get his expenses up, you know? Because, Jesus Christ, that is a lifetime worth of money and value. No wonder the guards were concerned. They just got a small noble's gift, basically. Or large noble's gift. I don't know the exact value of a bit, but I know the herb itself is valuable, at least based on Celestia's whole thing. But 20 pounds of rare material is always going to do that. So who knows? We'll see. What also we'll see is my thankfulness for my wonderful Patreons. Thank you, my tier 1s, Pony Entertainment, Micario, Lord High, Jason, Hyperlink, Chase the Master, Balance, Kindness, Redeemer of Dark, Lost Nebula, Night and Game, Sword Brother, Mordred, Dreamless Portal, Steve, and Shadow Angel. My tier 2s, Captain Blue Shadow, Kayak The Animated Ghost, DJ X2000, Elemental Wolf, H1 Wolf King, Potato 20, Mr. Crazy Deacon, Solar Comet, Tuna 12 Trooper, Voyalcad, G-Man 121 Garza, Mackenzie, Micoles, Nocturne, Papa Lennon, Kalad Zaza, Solus Clip, Sword Brother Mordred, Artie Bryant, Rihanna Dragon Ball, Steel Spark, Sticks, and Nobody. My thank you to my previous Titan tiers, Dark Guardian, Danish Dash, Maverick, and User 1842. A large thank you to my current ones, Bis Eclipes, and Silent Titan. I appreciate your support so much, and it means a ton to me. That aside, however, this has been Firehearth. Have a wonderful day.